right, and welcome to Fast Break Breakfast NBA Podcast. My name is Keith, here once again with my buddies Chuck and Jon.
Hey now.
It's through the miracle
Look out, folks.
of computer phone. Chuck, where you at?
I'm in Denver, Colorado, hunting
nice.
for bowl.
Nice, you finding that sweet bowl.
I'm trying to pack a bowl.
Smoking bowls.
Sweet bowl. John Burr, where you at?
I don't really know. I've called it Fall Creek Falls. I've called it Fall City Falls. I've called it Fall City Beer. I'm about 2 hours outside of my comfort zone. There are trees everywhere. Last night I was the only person not on mushrooms. And right now it's 11:33 a.m. and I'm the only person awake.
Oh, I like
That's
it. It sounds like you're
horrifying.
in Fall Creek Falls, which is 2 hours away from Nashville. Do we
Yes.
have a Fall City in Tennessee? I feel like that's some other state, right? In Fall
don't
City
know.
beer.
I know it's a beer.
I
Seems like a northern beer.
I would have guessed Ohio.
I like it.
Why is it called Fall City? Is it just because the leaves are brown year round or something?
Oh, Falls City is a Louisville, Kentucky beer.
Oh,
Oh, okay. It's north to us.
okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
Still under the Mason-Dixon, so
Where's the Mason-Dixon? That Maryland?
it's okay.
Maryland.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
I think it's
38, the
Maryland.
38th parallel. Is that something? Am I just...
I just
might
like to
have-
call. I love to
I might-
call people who don't consider themselves Southerners. I like to be like, "Are you below the Mason-Dixon line?
Oh, the
Then you're a piece of trash like us."
the 38th parallel is what divides North and South Korea.
Yeah, that's the militarized zone. That's like DMZ.
The
Man,
prime meridian.
I remember. I feel like I was smart, and it was at least 18 years ago.
No.
Like 18 years ago, knew everything. Now can't remember. It's just all jumbled facts and figures. No idea what they mean, what they represent.
I'm trying to remember who the Grizzlies' second pick was in the last draft. That's where I'm struggling.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
remember because Keith yelled it 2 minutes before the pick happened on TV at the watch party.
I'll get to.
Why y'all still mad about the watch party, the Brandon Clark thing? It was exciting.
I know, but
I'll
like,
get to that later. I have funny stories about that.
All right.
this is great.
All right. Also, breaking Grizzlies news: Tyler Dorsey will not be back. John, I'm not
Oh.
sure if you even remember who he is.
He was the quarterback for the University of Miami, wasn't he? During
think he was.
great
Dorsey's
team.
little brother,
Yeah, I think that's exactly
Lee Dorsey's son.
hmm
The team just got a lot less funky.
Yeah. So we're gonna go. It's good to have a full show with Jon and Chuck. We can't go too long. It turns out my son has run into an object at daycare.
Oh God!
Oh no!
He's fine, except he's got a big bruise. I'm almost thinking he probably did. My daughter, who's like 20 months, she does this thing where she treats me as like her superpower, as in I'm like her Spider-Man sticky web. She will just step off of ledges and walls and say dada.
Yeah.
And like right now, she believes that she can step off like really high ledges because she always lands very safely. So I think she has no knowledge what actually falling and hurting is because she just keeps stepping off things and saying dada. And I'm like, whoa! And yeah, so far nothing.
Yeah, my son used to do the same thing. He would go like at the jungle gym at the playground.
Yeah.
And he'll get to the edge and he'll look at me and he'll see if I'll panic. And then he would like feign a jump to see if I would freak out. I'm like, this kid is like a velociraptor. He's testing me
Yeah, he's
to
testing
find out
their
my
responses.
weaknesses.
John, you aren't allowed to go near playgrounds, but every playground has like they have like a slide, and beside the slide, there's always like just like an open where there's no railing, which is a way for like some kids to either do like some kind of like a fireman pole or some kind of
The
weird,
fireman pole.
Yeah, there's like some weird climb up thing, and it is very nerve wracking with a 1-year-old who just walks up there. Is like, oh, I just did the slide. Why don't I try this empty area of air and see what ride this is? And
Right.
and it's data grabs you by the arm and keeps you from hurting yourself. And
Yeah, let's see if I can reach terminal velocity before I
Right.
hit the ground.
Right. Anyway, John has glazed over and gone silent as we talk about children. John, what was your breakfast at this Fall Creek Falls resort or retreat?
I have had what amounts to cheese Danish.
Okay, what is that? It was a deconstructed cheese Danish. What do you mean? What amounts to a cheese Danish?
So it was a gas station cheese Danish.
Okay,
That's sexy.
But it was in the package, in the car, overnight, 90+ degrees.
Oh, that was just a warmer. It was just you broiled it.
Yeah, I wanted to say that it was disgusting, but I think I may have stumbled onto something, boys.
Yeah, it's like a sous vide.
Much like I think exactly. Much like I think you guys could get famous, just internet famous for saving your setting up. You need to contrive scenarios where you save your children and film it.
Yeah.
Every Father's you only be famous one day a year, but every Father's Day I see these fathers saving their children from sharp objects, et cetera, et cetera. But I think I have this sous vide cheese Danish thing on lock.
Oh,
and all I do is I just buy them in bulk and leave them in like a Chevy sedan on a hot Nashville night. Because I ate it anyways because I was kind of desperate for food because I only got like 4 hours of sleep and I'm nuts right now. So I just ate it anyways with my fingers licking it off. Like if anyone had seen me, they'd call the cops. But it was really, really, really good.
I don't want to go into the food safety element of this at all. We're going to pretend like microbiology isn't a real field of study.
Yeah, the overnight cheese.
Yeah, I'm going to give you the okay to do this, but never more than overnight in the car, John. Lest your intestines fall out of your butt.
Level of preservative, I can just do anything with this cheese Danish.
Yeah, I think your test is the old bug test. If you can set it outside and if ants won't touch it, you're good. I think you leave that in your car for a while.
Yeah, you're straight.
I feel like the only thing that could dissolve this cheese Danish is like Coca-Cola.
Chuck, what's your did you have a bowl or do you have another breakfast and dinner?
I had some I grilled up some steaks yesterday, so there was some leftover. I had some breakfast tacos.
Oh, nice.
Diced up some peppers and onions and, finessed it, threw them in some. I did the flour tortilla. I love a breakfast flour tortilla. The corn is for tacos at dinner or lunch, but the flour is fantastic for an egg, for steak, for a good breakfast taco. So
somebody say flotilla. What's going on here?
Tortilla.
Oh, yeah, okay, gotcha.
Not flotilla. I'm not, the Mario boat lifters.
My breakfast, I had one glazed donut. It was delicious.
Oh, the simplicity.
It was pricey, but it was still, it's the one I do. It's become almost the Thursday routine for me. I drop the kids off.
Good.
Sometimes my wife will work at home on Thursdays, so on the way back home, pick up a couple donuts from the frou-frou place. Anyway, those were our breakfasts. After our breakfast, we move to our breakfast in bed apologies. This is our chance to make right what we might have gotten wrong on any previous episode. It is frequently the first time we talk about the NBA. Gentlemen, does anyone have anything they need to atone for?
May I go first as I need to conduct an investigation?
Yes,
go ahead, Johnny boy.
So I had to leave the watch party to go back to work just before the Grizzlies made their move and got Brandon Clark. And I'm going to pull up a series of texts I have. The first text is from Eric Kentucky Fart Knocker Wilson. Shout out.
Oh, shout out Eric Wilson.
And the text says, your boy Keith, ... I have another text from a friend named Brandon. Some idiot just spoiled the Grizzlies draft pick at the party. Was that you, Keith?
Yeah, because Twitter ruins everything.
So set up the scene for me. Was there a collective groan? Did you feel your heart sink into your stomach?
This is what happened. We're at the bar. The after the first 15 picks or so, the watch party kind of thinned out, and there was about 15 people left or so.
Well, that's no, Chuck. There were a lot more actually at that point.
I mean,
everyone was spread out. They were just. It was just less focused on
When I left, Chuck was on like gin and tonic 72 and was just then deciding to switch to beer.
No, there were solidly 40 people still, but they were just all at their tables
the party
hanging
was
out.
Still,
yeah.
We had a whole lot of people show up to that party, which was cool. But as the second round pick, it wasn't as popping and as energetic as the beginning in the first round, and it was kind of quiet. And the Grizz were picking 23, and we weren't expecting. And the next thing you know, Keith at the top of his lungs screams, "We got Brandon Clark," and just runs through the bar, does a lap around the entire bar like a happy child.
Well,
and I was excited for him, but also very confused, and so was everyone else.
Let me, Chuck, you're leaving out some key ingredients of the confusion. I already apologized for this on Monday's little solo show.
Sorry.
The confusion was about pick 18 or 19. I kept going over to Chuck at the bar, being like, Brandon Clark might be available, and I know very little about the draft, but I'm very excited if he ends up on the Grizzlies. That seems like a great pickup this late in the draft.
He was excited, and he tweeted it and everything.
It picked 19 or 20. Woj tweets the Grizzlies have acquired the 21st pick from the Thunder. So at this point, I start yelling to the watch party, the next pick is the Grizzlies. We're picking 21st. So everyone's
that's
like,
good. That's a public service.
I was trying to do it, but people were still kind of confused. I was like, this is going to be pick. And then I was like, we're getting Brandon Clark. So then I started running around hunting for the high fives, like Chuck was saying.
Which is a full 5 minutes before it's announced on television.
Yeah.
There was a commercial break.
Yeah, so we're somewhere on pick 19 or 20, and I'm yelling out in short staccato bursts, trying to express the news. The Grizzlies have traded up to the 21 pick, and we're going to draft Brandon Clark. So I'm trying to do that.
Cole Zwicker loves this guy. Cole Zwicker loves this guy.
I did not ever yell Cole Zwicker.
Okay, cool.
I tried to tell Chuck, maybe
I
Rudy at the bar, maybe the Jan Ort, maybe Eric at that point.
Eric.
Yes. No, but so I was doing all that. I'm like high-fiving. And then when the Thunder are actually finally at the board, I'm a little tired. I've already been exuberant. And at that point, when they actually draft Brandon Clark, I'm still yelling at people like, that's the Grizzlies' pick. That's our pick or whatever. And so
he really does at watch parties communicate like a carnival barker.
Someone said I might need a megaphone next time. We might need to set up a PA system next time.
So I think so. Our system last time was I would go get information from you, walk around the corner, and yell information to the people who could not hear you.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah. The acoustics and the layout at the mainstay. There were some pockets of Grizzlies fans where you were relaying the information of the raffle tickets. But anyway, once it was over, a handful of people would come up and be like, "Hey, buddy, can you explain what just happened?" And so,
there were some confused Grizzlies fans who have no Twitter account, who were chilling in the corner, just eyes crossed, going, "What is this excitement about?"
Right.
You would have thought we, traded for Chris Middleton.
Should we talk about the Brandon Clark pick now, or do we need to get the rest of our apologies?
Do you have something you want to say? Feel free to go ahead.
Well, so I'm not as excited as you are.
Uh-huh.
And my reasoning is thus: A, he fell.
Right.
And then B, I'm never excited about. So I'm excited about his athleticism, of course. I watched a ton of Gonzaga, a ton of Brandon Clark. I never liked Gonzaga guys because their coach is really, really good and makes their players look so much better than they end up being in the NBA. So I'm always afraid of that. And then I'm also curious, it's one of those things like, well, if he's so good, why did he fall, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm hoping, to be wrong. And I've been wrong on these like pure athlete guys over and over again. And it's starting to become more and more apparent that, when you have an athlete as explosive as JJJ or a Brandon Clark, that don't worry about, the extemporaneous stuff and just let it happen. But so talk to me more. Is it just the Cole Zwicker effect, or do you have more reasons why you love Brandon Clark?
I don't know much about any of the prospects. It's because of the people like a Cole Zwicker and also Brian Schroeder, who I like his draft analysis. The Ringer had him really high. So I
he
trust
was as high as like 2 on people's things.
So I think just with that 23rd pick ending up with someone who was in the top 10 or at least a lottery pick in almost every mock draft made me feel pretty good. So that's just
is excited about Bull.
No. Just because there's a ton of people I wouldn't have been excited about at all. I would have been like, that's fine. I don't know anything. But just a guy who had been so highly recommended by a lot of people, and we're like, I don't know why he's falling. He has a unique athletic skill set that we've really never seen before. As in,
he's an insane athlete.
As a 6'8" guy who can jump like crazy, and he's falling because he's old, and he's falling because people don't think he can shoot. But a lot of people who thought he should be higher in the lottery were saying he has the ability to learn how to shoot. He can knock down shots in the gym. His jumper, they're saying his form looks fine. So
yeah, his jumper at San Diego State was atrocious, and then in a year it turned into something, at least aesthetically not repulsive, because it was an ugly set shot.
Are you talking about Kawhi Leonard? I think you're talking about Kawhi Leonard right now.
Yeah, no, and that's where he was before San Jose or something. He spent 2 years somewhere.
Oh, did
he? Before he went to Gonzaga.
That's even Clark. Beyond me. I just like it getting the high extra swing at like a decent good role player.
So the reason he fell is because he's older.
Yeah, he's like 22.
Okay, that's like a way better reason.
And his measurements aren't great. His wingspan is only 6'8".
Right,
so that's why he fell.
But his ceiling, is what you think?
I have seen him jump over other human beings.
Right. He has like a 40-inch vertical for a 6'8" guy, which is wild. I don't know what his ceiling is supposed to be. If it's supposed to be someone who can develop into a 3, I know you should get electroshocked every time you say like he could be a Pascal Siakam, but like that's like a thing if you project out. But now I'm talking like out of my element. I don't know anything about him other than those few things I've already regurgitated.
Do you want me to keep raining on the parade a little bit? Or should I just stop?
No, I don't care. Do what you want.
So Gonzaga definitely got better when he went out.
Okay.
Like on off.
Yeah, like they were just a better team. They did not slow down at all. It's just one of the. I hope it's good. Here's my favorite thing about the pick though, by far. Sniping him from Danny Ainge.
Oh yeah.
Trading up and sniping him from Danny Ainge, because that feels good. Because he's like the Grand Wizard of Oz of trading, so that feels good. That makes me feel like, hey, the Grizzlies are doing things. You know, I'm just not used to Grizzlies doing things, so that was really exciting. Like it was one of those things. Like when I left, all that stuff happening, I was just physically sick because I was like, this is what I've been waiting for.
And I mentioned this on Monday, John, which you didn't hear, but it also you could say it's reminiscent of the Grizzlies trading up to get another free faller in the draft, Deontay Davis. Same thing. Chuck, did you have an apology?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Next time I'm at a Grizzlies watch party, if I aggressively interrogate you regarding a missing Tony Allen statue, I hate to report that one of our Nashville Grizz beloved is responsible for pilfering my idol, my icon, my Grizz Mount Rushmore Tony Allen head that had acquired through years of use and bringing
the saga of Teardrop Tony.
It acquired a teardrop.
Why is Tony Allen so important to you?
Because he represents my
I thought this had a singular element, like a teardrop.
Yeah, well, the teardrop just came like like the Virgin Mary would get one at a holy site. It just appeared. He has
a teardrop coming down his face.
It was so the statue got scratched, but the scratch looks exactly like a teardrop under his left eye.
Weeping Madonna.
Right, exactly. Like Jesus on a piece of toast. John.
Yeah, so that is a sad thing. We had said earlier, because we were giving away those awesome draft hats, and I announced early on if any of the draft hats disappeared from the prize box, no one was getting any prizes. But I'm very sad. The Tony Allen, the holy Tony Allen graven image, seems to have been pilfered. I gotta say,
there's a couple suspects. I know who you are, and I will be watching you with.
There's a prime suspect.
Intent.
And
I'm sorry that I took it.
I just want to say
I wanted a keepsake.
Okay,
John, I'll slap you if you made my heart break like this.
If you took that Tony Allen idol, you can bring it back, no questions. Okay, it'll be cool.
No, there'll be plenty of questions.
Well, you had some free drinks. We put free drinks in you. That's some of it's on us.
It is.
That's true.
We put some free drinks in you, and so maybe you made some poor decisions. So I want to extend the chance of a person to return that. They want to return it. It's cool. If they don't return it, and they come back to a watch party. Yeah, Chuck's is gonna be ugly.
If I catch you, fam, it's gonna be ugly. And I know who. I know who it is.
He might tweet about it.
Anyway, my apology is when I was doing that solo pod breakdown on Monday, I think I was a little fuzzy about the traded player exceptions, which some teams have been acquiring.
Fuzzy they are.
Yeah, the Grizzlies have a big traded player exception, but friend of the show, Jeff Siegel from earlybirdrights.com, the go-to website for your salary cap and salary information needs, he was spelling out to me that you can either use cap space or the traded player exception. So if the Grizzlies did, waive Valanciunas and anything else, stretch Parsons to offer like a Chandler Parsons a max contract. A Klay Thompson a max contract, or a Tobias Harris, they would then forfeit that traded player exception. So it looks like that traded player exception could be used to take on some bad salary, and the Grizzlies should probably keep DeLon Wright, keep Jonas, and then use that to get better in the future. But apologies for any fuzziness that came out over that. Anyway, those were our apologies. After our breakfast in bed apologies, before our steak and eggs, we have a few listener submitted questions. The croissant questionnaire.
Any questions?
Yes. Are you going to finish that croissant?
Knock yourself out.
That croissant. Finish that croissant.
Trent asks, is a dinosaur bouncing a basketball the dumbest mascot of a championship team?
No.
I would nominate Lakers.
That's up there. Also, Trent, shout out the watch party, is an Indiana Pacers fan. A pace car is really stupid.
Have the Pacers won? When do they?
Yeah,
like an ABA something?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I'm screwing this up.
I think the Celtics are a dumb mascot because Irish people can't play basketball.
Oh, easy, Chuck.
I like it.
I know.
I mean, where's the Irish national team?
Jermaine O'Neal, Chuck.
Rashad McCants.
O'Neal, Chuck.
I get it. Rodney Magruder.
Yeah, let's think about this before we speak. I like Keith's Lakers pick because no one knows what it is. It has to do with Minneapolis. Yeah, that seems pretty solid. And plus, go ahead.
Yeah, that's it. You're right. You're 100% right.
I mean, would you rather have a dinosaur bouncing a basketball or a leprechaun bouncing a basketball? I mean,
I like both of those things bouncing basketball.
I like it just fine too. Yeah.
As a fan of both Jurassic Park and the Leprechaun franchise, I would find the basketball bouncing Velociraptor far more.
If we could ever get a crossover of those franchises,
Warwick Davis in the house.
Yeah. What's
up?
So we can't even describe. We can't even tell you what a Laker is. The Laker mascot doesn't even exist. Does that make it exempt?
No, I'm gonna say that makes it bad.
Okay, this may be a non-answer because I don't know if that qualifies as a mascot.
Yeah.
Can I say? I think, and this might be out there, just because of how nebulous and bland it is. I'm not into Warriors.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, might be racist. I don't know. Is it a Native American thing? Don't even know. Second of all, if they're going to go lean Warriors, they need to go full on dude from Warriors with the bottles on his fingers and just do that clink, clink, clink. Warriors come out and play during every timeout.
Yeah.
Until they do that, I find it pretty dumb.
They did do that a couple years ago, right? I feel like they were doing that during one of the maybe the first championship run. They tried to do some of that.
That's how you should do it.
I want to state for a record, and I know it's kind of like it sounds cool and it has like a whatever, but a Knickerbocker is a stupid name. It's
also sounds racist.
Really racist. It just really seems of a time past. And yeah, whatever. I think a Knickerbocker was like underwear or something. So like they're the New York underwears or the New York trousers or something. Puffy pants. Aren't those what Knickerbockers are?
Look, the whole championship thing really throws it for a loop. But I think we can all agree that like the best mascot name is them Blazers.
Yeah. Chuck, what's your what's another question?
Oh, sorry.
Counterproduct asks, list your predicted top 5 dumbest offseason moves.
I like to envision this like just what are maybe some bad contracts, because I mean,
okay,
I don't know if there's another way you can think of a dumb offseason move.
All right, what if a team's GM left in a huff and then after resigning advised them into trading every asset they had for Anthony Davis?
Yeah, that'd be pretty dumb. What if a team didn't even bother hiring a GM the entire offseason?
Man, that's kind of, but that's kind of like the positionless basketball of the front office. That's like going for the stretch. That's like having a stretch 5 in 2005. You guys are ahead of the game. Pretty soon it'll be AI making all the decisions.
Allen
front
Iverson.
office. Yes.
He does have a lot of debt. I feel like getting a little more realistic, like I kind of weep for whomever ends up with Terry Rozier.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that Terry Rozier is going to be a bad deal, especially if this rumored Kemba Walker being going to the Celtics. They seem to maybe be a front runner. So yeah, I think Terry Rozier is in line to get a real bad contract.
Here's my dumb offseason move thing. Anybody who isn't the Warriors who signs Kevin Durant max this year.
Oh, you think that's a bad deal?
I think it's stupid. Unless you're a team that's gonna really suck this year, which I don't think he's gonna sign. I don't think he's signing with them. You're doing yourself.
I mean, the Knicks should definitely do it, right?
Yes.
I mean, if there is a team that it makes sense for, it's the Knicks, because they're gonna suck regardless. That'll get him more talent. But I don't think he wants to be part of a rebuild. He's creeping on 30, and he's going to come off an Achilles injury. I think he's, anybody that trades or signs him knowing he's not going to play and then paying him $37 million or whatever he's going to end up making, that's going to be really silly to me, unless it's the Warriors and they're trying to keep together the core.
So I think that is something that is weird to think about, that how old he's going to be when he's healthy again. Like this is a 30, he's going to be a 31-year-old and you're going to be paying him the supermax, or not the supermax because he's switching teams, but still that 10-year veteran max, which is massive. So that's going to be rough. I think
and what happens with his injury, who says he comes back and he's the same player? It could be a year before, even after returning from injury, before he's capable physically of playing like he has. So, you're shooting the dice on him. I love him. It's the saddest turn of the playoffs was his injury to me. Even in the Houston series, it just made it seem like nothing was really real. It was, the Warriors were playing with one hand tied behind their back almost, and everything was going to have to be filtered through that. And then when he hurt his Achilles, it was heartbreaking. So I root for the dude. I just don't know if it's smart to sign him knowing he's going to sit with no real understanding of how good he's going to be after.
Yeah, it's a big risk. Someone's going to do it. I got 3 guys who I think are, like, they're decent players. They all had career seasons last year, and they are all possibly going to change teams, or they're likely to change teams, and they're going to get pretty big contracts. But I think any one of these could end up being a very bad contract.
D'Lo.
Well, so that's one, but like that wasn't one of mine. So I got Bojan Bogdanovic, who had an awesome season for the Pacers last year.
That'd be a terrible move.
He is old, and he shot out of his brain last season, and he had a
male
career,
pattern baldness.
Well, he had just a huge outlier season. I would not want to give him like 3 years, $60 million or $20 million a year for several years. Someone who might sign a similar contract
might be on that Nick Calathis Propecia performance-enhancing drug kick.
Yeah. He might get that 10-game suspension that Nick has still never served. Malcolm Brogdon is a guy who has injury concerns, who came off this 50-40-90 season. I would be hesitant to pay him $20 million a year. I guess like if you have that money to spend. So if you're the Bucks and you're willing to pay it to keep him, that's fine. But if I'm another team and like I want to offer him an offer sheet that the Bucks won't match, like I'm the Bulls, I don't want to give him over $20 million a year. I feel like that's a big risk. Or like even the Lakers
overpaid Chris Middleton. Just stay on the overpay train. Pay the luxury tax. Do it all.
And another guy who will be cheaper, but I wouldn't want to necessarily sign, I don't think, is Terrence Ross, a guy who has had half a season like that was good. I feel like he's been a pretty big disappointment outside of a 50-point explosion. And then he had like a decent run coming off the bench for the Magic. If he gets anything like north of $10 million per year, I would not feel super good about being the team that gave him those contracts. So
we're going to remember Terrence Ross like our dads remember Charlie Huff as like this weird player that just bounced around and somehow stayed relevant despite only having like one or two special skills. And you're just like, who the hell? Do you remember Terrence Ross? I feel like we have to mention Andrew Wiggins.
Oh,
because anytime you hear dumbest, and it's like a GM related thing, the Andrew Wiggins pops up for me, and I hear rumblings involving my own team, involving the Nets signing and trading. I like how D'Lo Russell and Andrew Wiggins are somehow being mentioned in a trade when that's two contracts no one should want anything to do with.
Yep. I'm going to ask Monte World Peace. He asks, or he states, I think I like Evan Turner as a person about as much as I dislike the way he plays basketball. Are there any players who fit that bill for y'all? Or the opposite, where you hate the dude, but you love his game?
This question is tough because, so for instance, there's like a lot of players who, like James Harden seems like a nice guy, but I would rather, die in a fire before I'd be like a Houston Rockets season ticket holder.
Yeah.
But like I could say that about pretty much everyone besides Chris Paul in the NBA, like whose game I don't like. I mean, most of them seem like nice people. I feel like Monte nuked his own question by using the perfect example. Because Evan Turner does seem so awesome, but I would
like to point out I enjoy how Evan Turner plays basketball. I recognize he is limited, but I love how he plays basketball. Like he tries really hard. He penetrates. He obviously can't shoot, but he tries to contribute in a way without being able to be like much of an outside shooter. So I have a soft spot for his game.
I think the perfect person here who I love, but makes me cringe watching, is J.R. Smith.
Okay.
The pipe man has just one of the greatest, essences. His spirit is, to me, a wonderful NBA personality. He's a great addition to the history of the league as a personality. But when you watch him play, you go, oh my God, what is about to happen? Is he going to throw the ball into the fifth row? Is he going to brick something off the side of the backboard?
Is he going to run the clock out in an NBA Finals game?
Yeah. He's going to make probably
when he's not winning.
The biggest bonehead mistake that anyone's ever going to remember, but he will never even second guess it. He's probably already forgotten it's happened.
I think guys I like on the Grizzlies, I hated Quincy Pondexter's game and I hated Rudy Gay's game, but they both seem like super nice off the court, like just great gentlemen, So that's like what you were saying, John.
Let's get to the let's drink that haterade. Let's do the opposite, guys. Where you hate the guy but love the game. For me, this is always an honorary Celtics award. It was Paul Pierce forever. Love Paul Pierce's game. Cannot stand him as a human. Kyrie Irving. Number one with a bullet for me.
Oh, interesting. I don't know if anyone fits the bill for me. I feel like there's only a couple players I really dislike off the court. I feel like he's just grown annoying to me, which is no big deal. I mean, like, like there's guys like Blake Griffin who seem really cool off the court, but then I actually just like that's the same. That's the other one where I dislike their game.
I don't know. Blake Griffin is like so wild swings of like, oh, what a funny guy, and then like, oh, what a cruel bully.
Yeah, I'm with you, Chuck. Can you pick us one more?
So here's the guy.
Here.
I love his game. He's the prettiest game I've ever seen. I'll answer the question.
Yes,
it's Steph Curry, and there's after watching Holy Moly. On NBC, the competitive putt-putt golf game show.
Ready for your Holy Moly podcast.
Holy moly. It is a terrible experience. There is nobody I would probably find less, engaging and interesting than Steph Curry if we had to talk about anything other than basketball. If me and him sat and talked basketball, 5 hours probably of interesting conversation. Me and him talking about anything else, and it's probably akin to eating a Xanax. I just don't.
Xanax.
No, benzos and I don't get along. But yeah, no, it's an interesting. He's so vanilla and bland and normal and well adjusted and everything I'm not. So yeah, as far as it's not I hate him, but I'm just so indifferent about his personality.
Yep. Chuck, so dial us up. You got one more croissant question
one
here?
More. Let's do this.
Pick one more.
This one's from Brian Morningway. Has anyone tried Kareem skyhooks? Also, how in the hell did he ever tear his ACL, or how did he never tear his ACL or pop an Achilles? So this is a Kareem question, and I love Kareem. So y'all go first, and I'll clean up.
So the skyhook is such like a specific shot that I don't even think my body is capable of pulling off. Like what I'd like to say when I've attempted a skyhook has been like a loping Aaron Bainesian, like barely like skyhook. You got to like jump off. I think I see what he's getting at, because you got to like jump off of one toe, get as high as you can, and release at the exact highest point to be a true skyhook. Thus the unblockable skyhook. So I don't think I can do this. So I don't think I've tried it really.
What are the factors? Did Kareem get high off the ground? I always thought he was just very tall and just released it. With that.
Yeah.
He's keeping the arm away from the defender. And
he's 7'2", and he's releasing the ball at or around rim level whenever he's doing his jump hook. And that seems to me to be less impactful on your joints than a layup would. You know what I mean?
He's doing it's off of 1 foot.
Right.
Like,
but it's not like
very specific.
It was a ballet act. It was a dance. He was very fluid in his movement. I just watched a Kareem documentary. Again, it's the I forget what it is, but
that one is good. Leaves out his Sherlock Holmes novel,
oh man, but he had to. The skyhook was basically his answer to the NCAA banning the dunk because of his dominance. That's how he developed that shot, because he wasn't allowed to dunk anymore. And it's an amazing story. He's one of the greatest human beings to play a sport ever. And he once broke Ken Benson's face with a straight right. And it was the greatest punch I've ever seen in the history of the NBA. Rudy Tomjanovich and Kermit Washington had nothing on Kareem's calculated chin.
They're both similar, like cheap shot doomsday punches.
No, Ken Benson elbowed Kareem right in the solar plexus. He got what it was coming.
I mean, I'm thinking of a different Kareem punch then.
No. Kareem broke his hand. It was the beginning of the 77 season.
Well, this might come down to what do you consider a sucker punch? Like, did Kurt Benson know the punch was coming? Maybe not. Did Kurt Benson earn the punch? Yeah. Yes.
Yes. This is the one. Okay. I'm watching.
No, when you give an elbow with that ferocity,
sure.
you should expect retaliation.
Yeah.
And Kareem also trained with Bruce Lee for 3 years.
don't mess with him.
He literally is a human weapon. Also, I was watching an Iverson documentary too, and I was thinking how Iverson's life story is like literally a movie, and probably somebody's going to write it soon. But you couldn't do a Kareem movie because he would have to be CGI. It'd have to be like Thanos because he was 7 feet tall in the 9th grade. You know what I mean?
And he'd be doing these sky hooks that no one else can do.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, he isn't a human being. He's like he's a mythical creature. You know, he's
man naked?
And he was an airplane.
That's right.
All right. Well, those were our croissant questionnaires. If you want to submit your own question to be answered on air, you got to become a Patreon supporter. You do that by going to patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. Anyone, I think $1 and up, can submit a question for $3. You can join the Slack chat, which we are in all the time, talking about everything during the off season. Also, be on the lookout for the free agency prediction game. Try to get that out very, very soon. As the
Last year, I predicted every free agent would go to Miami, even though Miami had
none of them went
salary cap space.
You would have think you would have gotten one right, but
none.
No. Yeah. So yeah, be on the lookout. All our patrons for the free agency game will be coming out soon. That'll have some form of a prize package attached. Monte World Peace, I believe, has used his winnings from the Stone Cold Lux challenge to purchase a WNBA jersey. I don't know which one, which player. I don't have it in front of me. But anyway, if you want to get involved with all that fun, support the show, get your croissant questionnaire in, do that. Patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. All right, steak and eggs, best thing. What's the best thing that has happened? Chuck, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So it's basically, we were talking about players we love and hate. And I think there's a player that kind of pulls at me in multiple directions emotionally. And it's Enes Kanter, who is, to me, a very heroic political figure in one arena and a complete buffoon in most other places, getting schooled pretty regularly on social media by other NBA players and himself after he ate too many hamburgers and had diarrhea.
The Burger King.
And also, he played bravely in the playoffs and didn't suck too terribly bad. And so this is a guy that's created a lot of emotions. But yesterday he was on Colin Cowherd, or a couple of days ago he was on Colin Cowherd, basically calling Zion Julius Randle with hops, and downplaying Zion's, possible brilliance or dominance in the NBA. To which Julius tweeted at him, "Bro, last time we played, I dropped 45 points on you," which is the sunning of the week.
Now these guys, Chuck, if you, in case you don't know, these guys are both Kentucky guys, and I think they are friends.
I'm sure.
I think this is just playfulness.
I mean,
so you think Kanter is?
I think Kanter was just taking a jab at Julius Randle.
So two friends giving each other.
I think it was digs.
I got two. Well, so one thing about the digs, I feel like people are making these insults around Zion Williamson that aren't actually insults. Like saying he's Julius Randle with hops, it's pretty awesome.
Like Randle was a lottery pick.
Yeah. I mean, you can have your. There are plenty of Julius Randle detractors, but being like, hey, this is a guy who can score 23 and 10 in the NBA. It's him plus with better leaping ability. Like, because I also saw this online where someone was like, hey, I think Zion Williamson is just a Zach Randolph who can jump. That's incredible.
Yeah,
like that's a game-changing NBA player. Like that's not an insult.
I think it was more about Kanter trying to be like, Julius Randle has no hops.
Right. I mean, and I take that. And as Chuck was saying, in one arena, Cantor is like a pretty outspoken and brave political figure, and then in the other arena, he seems like a clown. But I want to know: is he purposely playing the role of the buffoon, like in drama? Is this like a commedia dell'arte type thing?
But Doctor, I am Enos Cantor.
Right. He's doing the drunken master.
Yeah.
You know, he wants everybody to think he's a fool. In reality, he's pulling all the strings. No, he's an idiot. He just talks and doesn't think before doing so, which I sympathize with tremendously.
I should have brought up Enos Cantor and Monte World Peace's question. Enos Cantor, not a super huge fan of all aspects of his game, particularly on defensive end, although he's improved, but really enjoy him as a human being, and will always cherish that time he got in LeBron's face after Frankie Ntilikina wouldn't take that guff off of LeBron. So
or the time he wanted to get in a fight with when he had a broken hand that he broke beating up a chair.
Yeah.
John, what's your steak and eggs?
So for me, I'm still like adjusting to my steak and eggs. My best thing of the week is maybe the Grizzlies aren't the worst front office in basketball anymore.
No, I don't see how you could say it. I don't see how you could say it. First of all, they never were, but there
were moments where they were in the running.
They've been in the lower 10% for the past decade.
Chuck, that is a ridiculous statement you just made.
It is.
They've been in the playoffs for 7 years in the last decade.
Yeah. I'm saying, but that was all built like at 10 years ago when they made a few good moves and got a good core and got lucky when Marc Gasol turned into more than trade fodder.
You can't luck into 7 straight years of the playoffs and be a bottom 10%, which means a worst 3 NBA front office.
No, I'm saying you get it. It's not luck that Marc developed into a great all defensive center and first team all NBA guy.
I can see what Chuck's saying. Even during our playoff run, every tertiary player we added was a disaster. But more to the point, like when we got nothing for Tyreek Evans, and Chris Wallace is still rolling up his meatballs in our faces, being just an ass to fans and media. Like there was a time where I was like, God, is there ever going to be a point where I can like root for this team and the moves they're making? And I'm seeing some light here.
No, yeah.
And there's some really good players. Like there's some really like interesting players, I think, on the free agency list this year that and I feel like the Grizz might actually get them.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is just like, and like, I hate to bring up the watch party again, but there were tons of people with the watch party and the general vibe was very positive, which in the face of just watching, and then this is right after, your all-time scorer is just traded.
Yeah. No, I think
that's just a good feeling.
There's no reason not to be optimistic until the games start. The Grizzlies fans should all enjoy all of July, all of August, all of September.
Because it's
going to be ugly again when the games start.
There's going to be a lot of growing pains for the young boys down there, and it's going to not be pretty at first. But hopefully the Coach Jenkins gets the kids on board with a style of play and a commitment to getting better, because those kids' ceilings are pretty high. And the 3 youngest, with JJJ and Ja and Brandon Clark, those kids could all be a thing if they, come together and work it through and commit. So I'm excited for them. It's been the most excited I've been since, they've been a playoff team, somebody that's been around the Grizzlies for a few years and followed them. It's an exciting time. And,
it could be fool's gold.
Right.
There's some props out already, John and Chuck, for John Morant. John Morant over under 17.5 points per game, over under 7 assists per game.
Rookie year?
Double under me, please.
It feels like a double under.
Under me.
I mean, those seem so high.
That's like incredibly high.
I was like looking at
if he does that.
Well, if he does that means he's like good. I actually looked up to find like who's the worst player to ever average 17.5 and 7.
I'm gonna need a fainting couch.
Yeah. Is it like it's like Robert Pack? Maybe that dude was solid.
So Trey
Robert
Young,
Pack reference achieved.
wow.
Yeah. Kenny
Unlocked.
Smith averaged it one time. I mean,
So Trey Young last year was 19 and 8,
right.
and he had one of the most incredible rookie years we can remember for a point guard.
So here's a Zion prop. Over under 18.5 points per game, over under 9 rebounds per game. I think I would take the over on points. I think he's going to average 20 points per game.
Yeah. I think it's going to...
That's high, though, man.
20 a game, you said?
The over-under is 18.5.
Yeah, he's going to average 20.
John, what do you think?
That's really...
He's
18
going to have like
perfect.
35...
Go under. I hate it.
He's going to have 35% usage, probably.
How about, speaking of high usage, RJ Barrett, you want to guess what his over-under points per game is?
10, 15.
13?
Yeah. They have it, I can't remember what this is. It's like betonline. I don't know.
Argentina.
They have him at 16 points per game.
Really? Okay,
yeah.
hard under.
Yeah, I think it's a hard under. Sorry, Chuck, there are no Tyler Hero bets on the board. I don't even know how to say his name. I don't know how to say his name.
It's Hero, I think.
It's 2 R's. Hero.
I mean, I would pronounce it. If I were him, I would legally change it to Hero.
Right.
Yeah, seriously.
Just drop an R.
I can't get over. He literally looks like Vanilla Ice when he said the immortal line, "Lose the 0, get with the hero."
Yeah.
He even has that appearance.
Are you talking about his draft night outfit?
His suit for draft night came with an 8-ball of cocaine. It's right. It was right in the front pocket.
I mean, he looked like Arsenio Hall.
And he sounds like he's from Memphis, but is apparently from somewhere very white, like Milwaukee or
he's from Milwaukee,
Wisconsin.
Man. Yeah.
And I listened to a few interviews. He sounds like a SoundCloud rapper. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets face tattoos soon.
That's just basketball players. That's just how they. Did you ever hear Kirk Heinrich speak?
Yeah.
He sounded like Bushwick Bill.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there.
Basketball players sound...
Coach's son, Jim.
Yeah, basketball players sound like rappers. I mean, that's just how it is.
Well, Jason Williams, I get. He grew up with Randy Moss, but like...
Yeah, but Randy Moss sounds like a NASCAR driver.
Yeah, that was a weird example. My best thing was the entertainment value I gleaned from the report that the Timberwolves offered a sign-in trade for D'Angelo Russell, offering to send the Nets Andrew Wiggins.
Ah, so good.
That's a good one, Gerson Rosas.
Who is that? Is that the agent?
Yeah, that's the GM of the Timberwolves.
Okay, got you.
I thought that was that forward they had.
Opposite of steak and eggs, the cream of wheat, worst of week. What's
Stuck
the worst
on the
thing?
draft. Stuck on the draft.
Yeah.
But it's heartbreaking when. So again, I had to leave early, but I start getting texts from my girlfriend and from my little sister about being sad about Bol.
John.
And him slipping and sliding, and they were just like, "This is heartbreaking. I can't watch this. I don't show him anymore." And then when he finally gets drafted, he looks like he's about to cry, and then he gives like a super heartwarming interview. That whole thing was just really sad and hard to be a part of. We have to change it. I don't want to watch. And he had like my favorite ridiculous outfit besides Tyler Hero. Chuck, I'm not stepping on those toes.
No,
those
I get him. Drip God. That's what we call him now. Drip God.
I pointed out on Monday on the show that I'm pretty sure the NBA did that on purpose. I think the NBA needs to apologize to Bol. Like they knew he was going to fall, and he was in that green room for television.
Yo, he got reeked.
He was
show-esque nightmare.
Yeah, he was in there for people to be upset and feel sorry for him, and for that to be a talking point. And so, they're winning by us doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
From the women in my life who didn't know who Bol was.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
sitting
Slugworth.
I was sitting at the bar waiting for Bol. I thought I would have been happy if the Heat took him in 13. Then I get 50
Yeah.
texts. Damon Rangula texts me, Bol, and then 5 minutes later, everybody's like, never mind. And
Yeah.
that made me really sad.
He's going to be
'Cause
available 30 picks later.
every
40.
once in a while you get into a YouTube crush on a kid like that. Like you start watching his game, and he's 7'2", and it doesn't make sense the things he can do with his body and ball handling wise, and he can shoot, and he's nice around the rim. And I don't understand with Pat Riley's nonsense talk about finding orcas, that you look at that specimen in a ridiculously ugly suit designed by rapper Young Thug, by the way.
Much like he has his Cole Zwicker, I have my like guy that I turn to for college stuff.
Yeah.
And every 5 or 6 picks he would slide, I would be like, is this a good time to draft Bol? And after like the 4th time I asked him, he's like, there is no good time to draft Bol. Please leave me alone.
Is there,
That's the same thing I heard. I heard he was undraftable. So I didn't think he was.
Is his just feet made of peanut brittle? Is that it?
I think there's also issues with does he even care? Like he's already kind of set financially. Like,
Yeah,
is he going to do this?
His love of playing basketball is one of the big issues.
Right.
Isn't he he's not actually good at defense? He's just like a real skinny, real tall guy.
Yeah. You know what, dude? Like this is some of the the want to. Maybe the kid needs to be on Zoloft or something, and he, get him in and work him out, and put him in your environment, and get him to a therapist, and put him on an antidepressant, and then
Maybe he's just a normal, not driven dude.
Right. And, maybe he's just a normal guy who doesn't like basketball.
Yeah, that is it too. And now he's going to Denver, where there's demotivating factor stores all over the the grid.
Yeah, I don't think not liking basketball is a diagnosable
no, I mean
issue.
If that is
you can't
the
have a
symptom,
conversation now without bringing up mental health. You got to make sure that everyone knows
Chuck
it's okay.
Chuck is the team doctor in any given Sunday who's like, this kid has ADD. We just Adderall. He'll love the basketball.
Maybe he is in that way that he needs some help with behavioral cognitive therapy. Look, guys, why aren't we treating this mental health like we're treating an ACL injury or something? It is fixable. He isn't some broken
Just shoot
thing.
cortisone into his brain, Chuck. Get him on the court.
He's a kid. He might have to learn how to be, work hard. It's something you can learn.
His dad, we thought his dad was a kid and he was 56 years old.
Yeah, we have no idea how old he is.
My worst thing is on the night that Giannis Antetokounmpo won MVP, the Houston Rockets team Twitter account went full InfoWars and just started doing all this, this is why James Harden is the actual MVP. And then all Houston bloggers started pulling out all these are the writers who have voted Harden lower than we think he should have been the last 4 seasons. They started doxing people for not voting James Harden. Nightmare, people. Just let the guy have his award.
Nah, man.
Anyway, it was ugly.
I think it's prescient. They've been on the cutting edge of all sorts of analytical movements. Now in social media, they're taking, cues from Twitter geniuses like Scout with Brian,
and Donald
Trump, who just troll people and make their own information up and then yell at others and ask them for money in their DMs for Patreon.
Well,
You're probably right.
I just think when the Twitter account pointed out that he was here illegally, that was too far. Okay, that's too far.
Man. Yeah. When they asked to see his birth certificate, I said, no way.
No way. Chuck, did everyone do their worst?
Yeah.
Perfect. Let's get out of here with a parfait. What are we looking forward to?
Specifically, I want to know, will the Grizzlies sign a guy like Thomas Satoransky? Will the Grizzlies there's a bunch of players I'm into that I can't believe I'm into, like Jeremy Lamb.
Well, so that was the thing with if they want to keep that traded player exception and take on some bad contracts, they can't really sign much of anybody. If they decide they're not going to, then there are a bunch of weird little dudes like the Tomas Satoransky that seems like they might fall through the cracks. I listened to the Dunked On mock offseason, which I'll be real, guys. We like to make Dunked On jokes. I really enjoyed listening to that.
I like Dunked On.
Yeah. No, I like Dunked On too.
But the NBA podcast I listen to.
Man, the mock was very good. But listening to that again was just, there are so many guys that might fall through the cracks for all these teams. And it also kind of bummed me out that it seems like, the Lakers, if they're smart, and that's a big if, but there could be a lot of dudes left over who can really help their squad. They might get for just the minimum.
Yeah, LeBron teams always do that. There's also, and all these players are going to do that with Golden State too. They're going to go and play on the cheap, and yeah, these teams will fill out those rosters. What I'm looking forward to with the Lakers is how they're going to use their cap space. Is it going to be for one big guy, or are they going to spread the wealth around and maybe get some role players and try to moneyball a team around LeBron and AD? I'm interested in what's going to be the tail. Like, I think the real decision-making point for them makes or breaks them. Because I don't know if gambling on one star with a depleted skeleton roster behind them and getting guys at buyouts at the end of the season is going to be enough to beat Kawhi if he re-signs with Toronto, which Vegas is predicting right now. And it's going to be an interesting season to watch. I know the Lakers might be really good, but
the Lakers are going to sign dudes like Pat Beverly and drive us insane.
Yeah.
It'd be a risk. That'd be a big chunk of their money if you did it. Pat Bev is trying to get paid. He's all about the money now.
Okay, well then never mind. He's going to sign with the Bulls.
Yeah,
definitely. Actually, the Vegas favorite actually right now for Jimmy Butler, it's even money to the Rockets, which is really hard to pull off.
But that's something crazy.
I would love to. I can't wait for the World Star fight videos that come out of the locker room. When Jimmy Butler and Chris Paul get into
That's
it.
amazing.
No, I mean,
I hate that trade for the Sixers, by the way.
Well, I mean, it would just be if he would just leave. Otherwise, it's really it's really convoluted and confusing how the sign and trades work now. And the Sixers couldn't even; they'd have to choose one or the other of. It seems like of Capella or Gordon and send the other one to another team. It's very, very confusing. Go to earlybirdrights.com if you want to read more about it. But I got
one more thing on the far
Chuck.
fadeaway, though. So remember when Masai Ujiri got into a little kerfuffle with the sheriff at the end of the finals there? Turns out that the sheriff has said that Ujiri had credentials and was being polite to this officer when the officer shoved him. I'm looking forward for this officer who publicly stated that he was pushed first to go to jail because he pushed a man when he shouldn't have.
Oh yeah,
so I look forward to that.
You're going to be waiting for a long time there, Chuck.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Is that never going to happen?
Yeah, I do like.
Right, so
he, the police officer, literally said he presented his ID in a threatening manner.
Yeah, I saw that.
What in the world?
Yeah.
I just don't know anymore, guys.
Yeah,
I know.
We should steer away from this one. No, I say my part fade away. I mean, Sunday free agency starts. It's the day of days. It's just going to be
Chuck. I'm going to really be annoying. I mean, excuse me, Keith. I'm going to really be annoying you because I like to hypothesize where these players are all going, and then you're going to have to explain to me how that makes no financial or common sense.
Yeah. So check us out on Twitter at Fast Break Break as we go through Sunday, Monday of all the wildness of the free agency. I mean, do the Lakers strike early? Does Kawhi decide early? Does Kawhi wait a long time and hold everything up? And then again next Friday? I mean, it's Vegas time, baby. Going to NBA Summer League.
Vegas.
Friday of NBA Summer League is already sold out, which is wild.
Scalpers.
Yeah, the scalper's going to hit that. So maybe
do you guys have tickets?
I already got my ticket. Yeah.
I'm scalping like I did last year.
Yeah. So it's gonna be wild. If you're in Las Vegas, I will probably do like a breakfast on Saturday morning. I'll release more info there.
When are you leaving, Keith?
I am staying through Thursday. I'll be there Friday through Thursday, almost a whole week.
Oh, cool. So I'm in Monday. We'll meet up at the Tillman Frittata slot.
Yeah. We'll meet up. There's a Round Ball Rock meetup on Monday night at the Golden Nugget.
I'll be in by then, and we'll all kick it. And it should be a fun week. I'm looking forward to it.
Should be a great week. All right. So, yeah, check us out on Instagram, on Facebook. Go support us at patreon.com/fastbreak. Breakfast. All right. You guys are the best. Thanks for listening. And remember, breakfast is the most important thing.
Yeah, never apologize for being G&G. Fast break, man. You understand?
Buying tickets, listeners, it used to be overwhelming. Did I miss a deal on the secondary market? I got to check 20 different websites to make sure I got the right deal. Wait a second, did I check where exactly the seats are? Is it an obstructed view? Did I miss a great deal over here? SeatGeek has changed all of that. It's the smartest, easiest way to get tickets to any type of live event, an NBA Finals game, for instance, a concert. It saves you time and it saves you money. It collates all of the secondary market into one place, so you don't have to type in 20 different sites. You just go to one. It has an easy, color-coded system to tell you if you're getting a good deal, an under-market deal, an expensive deal, where the seats are, what the seats typically cost. It's very easy to use. It's fully guaranteed. And right now, my listeners get $20 off their first SeatGeek purchase. That can be a high percentage of like a baseball game or a concert ticket. All you have to do, download the SeatGeek app, enter promo code
FASTBREAK
today. That's promo code
FASTBREAK
for $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase.
Fast break and another break. Fast break.